All right, episode 2 of the Puzhitsky pod. Welcome, Shanil. How's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Excited to have you. So you're a comedian slash lawyer. Why don't you give us a little introduction? Whatever you want. Plug whatever. Talk about your life.
Yeah, I'm a comedian and a lawyer. I'm both those things. Mostly a lawyer, but a little bit of comedian.
A little bit of comedian?
Yep.
Sounds good. As a lawyer, are you scared that AI will take your job, or you chilling?
Definitely some parts of the job, but not all parts.
Yeah. I've been deep into that AI stuff. I've been watching like history documentaries and binging AI information. I don't know.
Scary, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, for lawyers, for like desk jobs, like people that have to write documents and stuff, all that is going to become obsolete.
Yep.
So it's interesting. So as a lawyer, how did you get into comedy?
I got into comedy before I became a lawyer. So I was in comedy for a couple of years when I was living in Montreal.
Yeah.
And I was going to school there for my undergraduate. And then...
McGill?
McGill, yeah.
McGill.
I was there, started doing comedy in 2014. And then I stopped doing it around 2016 when I got into law school because I thought that I would get enough out of law. And I practiced, and I went to school, started practicing. 6 years later, I realized I was not getting enough out of law, so I went back to comedy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what do you mean you went back to comedy? You were like pursuing it as a career or just for fun?
Just for fun again, yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't doing it for a number of years.
So you weren't getting enough out of law at McGill as like a party school. You just wasn't having.
Well, I went to
fun.
law school at Queens.
Oh, true.
So
okay.
it was a party school. I think I was too old at that time.
Yeah. I have a friend who's in law school at Queens right now. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's in. It's a good school. Elon Musk went there. Not a big deal. Not too hard to get into.
Not too bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You must have been the friggin' life of the party. It's like literally 99.9% white.
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah.
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 You must have, like, any bar you went into, everybody was trying to be your friend.
Pretty much. Yeah.
If you're friends with a not white person, you're automatically cool.
Oh yeah. You had immediate status.
Yeah, you're like Mike Tyson in there. Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. What do you like? What is your background?
Indian.
Indian?
Yeah.
You're like the whitest Indian I've
Yep.
ever come across in my life.
Thank you.
I don't know if the people listening to this can tell at all, but you sound like your name is, I don't know, John Swanson or something, not Shanil Patel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So were you born here?
I was born in Mississauga. Yeah.
Mississauga. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Saga guy. You're Canadian for all intents and purposes, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, Queens must have fit like a glove for you.
It was pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't too different than what I was used to.
Yeah.
I'm used to white people, and it worked out well there.
That's good that you're used to white people. That's a good
Yeah.
trait to have
It's a good skill
in the
in
workforce.
society. Yeah, definitely.
That's fair. I guess in comedy too,
And in law.
and in law.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So comedy, law, and then I guess it's interesting. Like as a comedian with a background in academia, right? Like law, or like a more, how do I say it? Like an academic field, right?
Sure.
Which might not necessarily be common amongst like serious comedians.
Mm-hmm.
I myself am a chemistry student.
That's right.
How do you like channel creativity? Because for me, my whole life I've been like, I have to flip a switch from math and chemistry to being creative. How do you channel your creativity, or do you find like you've always been a creative person? It's like an interesting combination, right, for both of us.
They're opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah, law and comedy are very different. Comedy or law is very straight to the point, and you say what you mean first, right? It's called point first, writing and speaking. And then comedy's the opposite. It surprises you with punchlines and stuff. So it's completely different modes of thinking, and I like to think that there's some synergy. One's expanding, the other one expands just by contrast, but I don't know if there actually is. I think they're different crafts.
Do you think comedy helps you with law? Like if you're so what type of lawyer are you, first of all?
I do wills and estates.
Okay.
And mental health law.
All right. Are you ever like physically in court defending clients?
These days it's mostly online.
Okay.
Court's online, but part of my job is going into court.
So did you find that comedy at all helped you with that public speaking aspect of the job?
Definitely, yeah. It gives you more confidence.
Yeah.
But you can't be so loose in court.
That's true. That's true. You got to stick to the script kind of, right? You have like
Yeah.
bullet points. I don't know how it is at all, but actually in comedy, it's similar. A lot of comics kind of stick to a script and are kind of stiff, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's I feel like generally, no matter what style you have, you can definitely tell when somebody feels loose up there on stage and is like kind of just going with it, and everybody has more fun. You don't want to be reading off your notebook all the time. That's something I've been trying to, like, whenever I can, unless it's like a brand new joke, I try to ditch the notebook and just, be loose, have fun out there, right?
Yeah, I think in both things you kind of need to be genuine, or at least believe what you're saying, and that kind of sells it. So I guess there's a bit of overlap there.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you want to be more creative in comedy. Like when you're trying a new joke or something, you want to be loose enough that new ideas can come to your head, which probably won't be the best thing when you're defending a client and you
don't want new ideas. No.
Yeah, you don't really want new ideas.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe this guy is guilty. You know what? Guys, I changed my mind. I don't know if you're going to be getting your 10% or whatever if you do that. But that makes sense. It's like a different, I don't know. I was listening to what's his name? Some music producer. Anyways, he was talking about like creativity and that how, he tries to stay creative. He tries to channel his like inner child because kids are innately more creative because they don't have like a fixed like lens that they see things through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas as you get older, and I'm definitely noticing this, like you have more life experiences, you learn more, and you get more of a lens that you see things through that's harder to break from.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you want to try to, like in comedy, I think the funniest thing, like, there's like misdirection and everything, but the funniest thing is the truth, right? Often when people speak about something in politics or in the news, that they have like a fresh take on it that is something that's true, that you might not necessarily have seen from just reading the news or quickly glancing at it. That's the cool thing. That like the truth is usually funny. If you can take something out of like, I don't know, whatever, like, Trump being elected and like that kind of stuff.
If you extract something true from it,
it's
funny for some reason. I don't really know why, but it is.
Yeah, because I think a lot of society is just like a very superficial kind of veneer, right? Like you're just trying, it's a lot of norms and rules set in place, and if you really dig deep, like usually if you keep asking questions, we go to work, we do this, like why? And then why do we do that? And then why? If you keep asking why, if you get to the nitty gritty of it, it usually just breaks down. The logic is just, it's like, I don't know, some dude decided in like the 1600s, that's why.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense, right? So, yeah, I guess that's interesting. Do you work out?
I do work out, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I can tell.
Yeah.
You got a nice tight shirt going today. That's
Thank
cool.
you, yeah.
When do you have the time? Comedy, law, when do you find the time in your busy schedule?
I work for myself, so I just kind of work it in.
You got to get that protein in.
Yeah, there you go. I just work it in throughout the day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. What do you usually do? Do you like, have you been working out your whole life?
For 10 years at least, yeah.
10 years. Or are you 20? Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, me too, I would say. I probably started when I was like early high school, like grade 10 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the best time to do it because they say you take advantage of all those hormones and stuff.
Yeah. Apparently up until the age 25 is when you really get to like take advantage of growing hormonally and everything. And what I heard, because when I started working out as a teenager, like normally you want to get big, you want to get laid, it's just like superficial purposes. And then as I started learning more about it, especially recently over the pandemic, I got into like calisthenics and stretching and shit.
Oh yeah.
Because like I went for a run recently for the first time in a couple months, and I was like, usually my whole life I've just been able to kind of like wake up, go, no stretching, nothing, I'm young. And then just recently I went for a run and like, my left ankle kind of hurts. And then like a kilometer later, my right knee kind of hurts. So I'm like, fuck, I got to start stretching, man.
Yeah, it catches up with you. Because when you get older, you still feel like you can do everything you could when you're young. You could sprint and everything. Yeah. Just you pay for it more, right? I was playing basketball this weekend with a few comedians for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, I got to do that. I keep seeing Rob posting that on his stories. I want to do that.
Yeah, and we played 2 games, best of 7. To take a long time off, and the next day I was feeling like shit. Yeah. And the next few days I still feel it. It's been almost a week now.
yeah, you feel it in your joints. You got to stretch. I got like my right shoulder is acting up. I started doing like calisthenics, and that was fun. And then you like just switching it up, like keeping it interesting.
Yeah.
I always like just this week, one of my like I'm still one of the postdocs in the lab I work at was asking me like what postdogs. Yeah, one of my dogs was asking me he was asking me about like equipment and this and that, and like he asked me to literally like write out like a training regimen for him. And I'm like, okay, so I'll give you a few recommendations, like watch this guy on YouTube, but mostly you have to figure it out for yourself because that's the only way you'll actually learn. And it's consistency over like a set program. Like if you have like a super like specific, program, I have to go in 2 hours and 35 minutes. I'm going to do this many sets of this many reps of this exercise and everything.
Yeah.
You're not going to stick to that. Just like with diets or anything, it's like going in, maybe not having a set program in place and just kind of winging it a little bit, having fun with it, but doing that 5-6 times a week as opposed to doing the very like annoyingly minute to minute program once a week or whatever, or doing it very consistently for 2 weeks and then giving up for a year, right? That's not going to work.
Now, do you go to the gym by yourself and put your headphones in kind of thing?
Usually, yeah.
What do you listen to?
What do I listen to?
Yeah.
Podcast, audiobooks, Taylor Swift, Pop Smoke, whatever. Yeah. I forgot my earphones a few days ago, and I was like just...
Devastating.
Dude, it's hard, man. Raw dogging the gym is not like... It takes mental effort. Like I'm sitting in between sets. I got through my workout much quicker. Yeah. So when I have my headphones in, I'm kind of like, I'm scrolling Instagram. I wonder like, I want to challenge myself to go into the gym without my phone and without my earphones. Just do it. See how long it would take me. Man.
Don't
really?
do it. Don't do it.
See, I love how like now in this day and age, that's like a hard thing. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I do. Yeah, I couldn't. I try to like when I forget my headphones or my AirPods are out of battery.
Yeah,
it's
you just go home.
Just the worst. No, I'll struggle through it, but I won't be happy about it.
Like 30 minutes on the treadmill without your earphones. Imagine that. That's like psychological torture.
It's psychopathic, is what it is.
Yeah, at this point. Oh, my cat's playing with the wires. Nice. Yeah, 30 minutes without your earphones on the treadmill would be like, if the whole world was conditioned like this, I feel like, they must use that like as some kind of torture. I don't know. Where's there a war these days other than Ukraine? Vietnam? No, that's a long time
Africa,
ago.
I'm pretty sure at war.
Africa, yeah. There we go. I'm sure the Americans use that. Or no, other countries could use that against the States because those countries where there is war probably don't have enough of, I don't think the people can really afford the $5 a month for Apple.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there we go. If you're trying to wage war against America, all you have to do is 30 minutes on a treadmill for your prisoner of war without earphones. There we go. They'll tell you whatever you need to know.
Oh, for Americans, that's torture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious. So we got the gym covered. I'm sure people have noticed by now that you have like a really slow, confident cadence. It's one of the first things I noticed when I heard you speaking on stage specifically, but just in general. Where do you get that from? Is that a law thing or is that...
It takes me a long time to develop my thoughts sometimes.
Yeah?
So I take my time.
You smoke weed?
I do, yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Was it not as much when you were a kid? Oh, he's got the AirPods. All right. A whiskey.
How old's your cat?
He is like 6 months now.
Okay.
He's a little baby.
Still growing?
Yeah. He hijacks every podcast. Last podcast was the same thing. It's all right. He'll learn. He's getting better with the wires, honestly. Oh, my God.
Just as you said that.
Yeah. Anyways, where were we? Oh, yeah. Slow, confident cadence. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's natural, I think.
I think it's a good thing. It's unique, too, right?
Yeah.
In comedy and in life, you want to find your voice. You want to be yourself. And, like, very rarely do people take their time when they're talking. Usually it's more rambling.
Yeah, people talk quickly, which it's always annoyed me.
Yeah.
When people just spit fire at you.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a reactive way of speaking.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be the easiest person to get high with because you wouldn't get like paranoid from, when you're like a little slow, people start talking quick and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
With you, you'd just be like, all right, you're on my level.
Oh, I get slower.
You get slower.
I get slower.
How many words per minute we're talking?
We're talking like 7 words per minute.
Damn.
It takes patience.
The WPMs are low. Yeah. That's good. That's good. You're like developing your unique style. Yeah. I don't know. Did you know that Elon Musk went to Queens?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. But apparently for engineering, right?
I don't know what he went for, but I think he dropped out.
Yeah, he didn't graduate. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about him versus Zuckerberg in a cage match? Who wins?
Probably Zuckerberg, because he's actually been training, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been training, but so has Elon. I keep seeing him with Lex Friedman.
I don't know if he's actually doing it.
He's also a big body. He's got that like weight advantage,
He's a bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he looks far less athletic.
He does. He has that whale physique, grounded seal kind of guy.
Yeah,
Elon
I saw on
Musk.
the internet someone described him as looking like he swallowed another rib cage.
He swallowed. Yeah. He's like a square. He's like a very rectangular. I wouldn't even say rectangular because rectangular means like you're a little elongated. He's more of a square kind of guy.
He's
like
a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a
SpongeBob
weird body.
SquarePants. He looks
Strange
like
physique.
Looks like he lives in a pineapple under the sea. Yeah. No, but he's I don't know. Like the weight advantage is tough. Have you ever like done any martial arts or anything like that?
No, I did when I was a kid, but never seriously.
Yeah.
Although last week when I was playing basketball, I was boxing a dude out, and he put me in a chokehold. And that was like...
While you were playing basketball?
Yeah, we were playing basketball. He just... I think he got a little frustrated, and he just put me in a chokehold and slammed me to the ground. And I had to tap because I was like losing consciousness.
Is that not a foul? I'm not a big basketball guy.
It is not a basketball play, I'll tell you that much.
That might be a flagrant one.
I got up, I'm like, that's a foul, right?
Yeah. Did you get 3 free throws or?
No, we don't. We just get possession.
Oh my God. I feel like, yeah. That's hilarious. Was it another comic?
No, it was just some dude we ran into.
That you don't even know?
I didn't know him, no.
So you fully just had a fight during the basketball game?
Well,
was it like a playful?
It was playful, I guess, but it was enough to like, I was like, you ever been in a chokehold before?
Yes.
Like,
I've done martial arts.
Right? Like it really, you start to lose your whole life flashes before you.
Yeah.
And I tapped, and he still held on for a few seconds after the tap too.
Yikes.
I was like, okay, geez. So now I'm kind of into like learning how to do that.
Yeah, I've only practiced martial arts in like controlled environments, but the closest I've been to that is when I was a kid, and you'd be like play fighting in a pool, and like you'd be with your friends, and they like hold you underwater. And then you're like, yeah, it's funny, but then you start to think you're dying, and they don't let you up. I've had that a few times. I don't know.
That shouldn't be normal.
No, I think that's just a part of every childhood.
Fucking nuts, man.
You're saying that wouldn't happen in a?
Do we practice drowning each other? No. No.
Do we in Mississauga? You're saying they don't do that?
No, the Browns don't do that.
The Browns don't do that?
We barely swim, so.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, the white kids like to do that. I should say the Eastern European kids,
Oh, I see that.
The kids like to fight each other. The dads don't like to tell their kids they love them and stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah, that's universal.
Yeah, that is universal. Do your parents tell you they love you ever?
They do. My mom has. My dad is doing it more nowadays.
I don't think my dad has done it ever once in my life. My mom is doing it more often. I made it a point to do it because I know exactly when in my life, when I was 9 years old, I lost someone that was close to me. And like, even at that young age, I'm like, man, I wish I could like, I remember vividly the last interaction we had. And then ever since then, you just kind of learn to like, every time you say bye to someone, just someone you truly care about, even to my friends, I'll say I love you. So I've been saying it to my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my girlfriend, whoever, right?
Yeah.
And my mom started saying it back. My grandparents always, obviously, no problem. But my dad, not once. I was actually, I was on a phone call with him, and I thought he said it when he hung up. And I literally called him back. I'm like, did you just say you love me? And he's like, no, what? Am I gay or something? No, shut up. And I'm like, okay, Dad, love you. And then he hung up. So it's, it is what it is. But I feel, it's normal, especially with like, your parents. Did your parents come here, or were they born here?
My mom was born in England.
Okay.
My dad was born in Uganda, and then he moved to England when he was fairly young.
That's
so they're both first generation-ish.
Okay.
My mom grew up in a pretty Indian household.
Okay.
But they're both removed enough from the culture and from the country to raise me the way they did.
Yeah, because I feel like so my parents grew up in the good old Soviet Union, so it's like
Really
yeah,
interesting.
Latvia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you know that? You know
My
where that is?
fiance is a quarter Latvian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. It's a small ass place. So
It
that's
is, yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
So yeah, they grew up there, and it's I don't fault them, because like they did their best. They grew up in a different way. They didn't have the resource. Like nowadays, there's like psychology books and everything about parenting, and so many resources. You can just like if you're having a problem with your kid, like, oh, my kid is bleeding out of his ass, you can YouTube it and you'll be fine, right?
Do you have older parents or younger parents?
Younger. They had me when they were like mid-20s or something, so they're only like they're just 50 now.
Okay, so they're Generation X, not boomers, right?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah,
Interesting.
100%. Yeah.
From the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Are yours? Well, back then it was much more normal to get married young and to have kids very young. Like
Yeah.
I have my godparents, they have two kids. One of them is I think in her like 30s or late 30s or 40s, and the younger one is younger than me. He's like in his he's like just 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first kid they had was when the woman was like 19.
Yeah.
Anna, can you grab him, please? Just grab him. All right, some feline difficulties here. Getting them fixed. What about you? Your parents,
They're at
older,
the tail.
younger?
They're at the younger end of being boomers.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So is it like back then? It was the same thing, right? It's like, it's funny how every generation has an effect. It's like a broken telephone, right? Like it's like a snowball effect. They pass their views and stuff on to the next generation. And I feel like since the internet has become prominent, it's the first time that it's much easier to kind of like break that chain, or in a good way and in a bad way. You know?
No,
So-
that's definitely a good point.
Yeah.
And you're able to access anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so kids grow up very different. Like I'm very different than my brother,
Yeah.
and we're both very different than my cousins in England that grew up there.
Yeah.
Just what you expose yourself to.
Yeah. And you have your own little echo chambers, right? Like if you're interested in a certain thing, your kind of your YouTube algorithm, your everything is just centered around that thing. So everybody
Yeah.
kind of becomes experts in their own little fields. It's crazy how many experts there are in whatever walking around. Everybody's a generalist now, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody knows a little bit about everything, and it's very hard to find people that are very kind of purely focused on one field because everything's so readily available. Right?
Yeah.
You can have like and it's valid too. You can have very smart people. It used to be like you can be a judge, like a Supreme Court judge, and like, what do you know about science, right? You're very bright. You rose to the top of your field,
Yeah.
but you have no access to information regarding science or technology. So your opinion regarding all that stuff doesn't matter. Nowadays, if you have half a brain, access to the internet and a camera, you can like put up whatever you like, your opinion about the COVID vaccine or like, gender equality in the same afternoon, and potentially millions of people will see it. So it's kind of it's crazy how like that shapes society.
That's what we do as comedians, right? We have no qualifications.
Yeah.
We just walk up there and just start spouting our shit.
Yeah, but we're not philosophers. We're literally joking, right? So
Yeah.
everything we're saying is intended to not be taken seriously. That's why I hate it when people call comedians like philosophers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I enjoy playing around with like politics, philosophy, truth, like I said. But like nothing I say is like, it might be like witty or something like that, but it's not fucking like, it's not a research paper. I'm not citing my sources.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're philosophers.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I hate it when people say like, oh my God, like even like the GOATs, right? Like Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle, they talk about a lot of serious political issues and they have amazing takes. But
Yeah.
like when people take their word as doctrine, like, no, they're literally fucking jesters.
At the end of the day, they're just fucking around.
Yeah. It's also, comedy in general is a good way to, it's a good skill or lens to have on things because, the world's pretty fucked up place. It's nice to be able to laugh about things sometimes. That's why we value these people so much, I think. And that's
Yeah.
why comedy is important because, you're feeling also all sorts of emotions every day, but I'm sure everybody can relate for some reason when you can like sit down with your friends or watch a show or something and just laugh for, have a nice belly laugh for a good amount of time, you get those endorphins and everything, and it just, the world's a bit of a better place.
Yeah,
right?
it's so important. Right?
Yeah. I gotta get that protein. Yeah. No, but so yeah, it's interesting the way that you grow up. And I was recently on my way to the cottage with my dad.
Oh, where's your cottage?
Wasaga.
Nice.
Collingwood and Wasaga, you know where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have like a family home there. My grandparents actually live there now. So we were on our way to visit them, and point is, I live alone now for the first time, in my life, and I'm not seeing them.
How long have you been doing that for?
Like not even a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So
before you were living at your parents, then, huh?
Yeah. Now I'm here with my other caretaker, aka my girlfriend. Love you. She's giving me a very serious look from behind the camera.
Very mean eyes.
Well, I mean, it's been nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been nicer for you, I can tell.
Yeah.
Listen, I lived at home during university, so I didn't plan any of this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But those skills that you develop during those, like living in a dorm or whatever, like fucking eating on your own laundry and shit like that, like I don't know if I would be able to just like move out on my own without my beautiful girlfriend over here. She's basically been like, now I think I can hold my own. Not even. I can't tell if she's still giving me the look, but it's a learning curve, It is a learning curve. Like,
it
fucking,
is, yeah.
like, waking up and, like, oh, shit, like, what am I going to eat today? Mom didn't make fucking spaghetti. Like,
You had spaghetti for breakfast?
I like spaghetti for breakfast, dessert, anything. I'm a big pasta guy,
Yeah.
I'm a big carb guy.
No, you're right. There's a huge learning curve. I remember when I moved out at 18 to go to school, I didn't know shit, man. I didn't know about changing bed sheets. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
Until like 6 months into university, my roommate's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bit about this. Like my girlfriend told me to get a duvet. I came back with a comforter.
Yeah.
And she's like shocked that I didn't know the difference. And I'm like, yo, like before you moved in, I didn't have a bed frame. I was fucking like mattress to floor. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. Bed frames kind of overrated,
Serious? I still, to this day, I don't understand the point of them.
Yeah. Like storage. Ours has some storage in the bottom there, which is nice.
That's fair, yeah.
Keep my podcast gear there. But honestly, like, I got better sleep when my mattress was on the floor. It was good for my back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more stable, right?
And that's another thing about growing up, too. Like, it's nice. For the first time ever, I, like, brag about how early I went to sleep, which is interesting as a comedian because, we don't, if you actually want to go and do your thing.
Early.
No sleep early.
Never.
So whenever I treasure the nights that I get like 7+ hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Well, you're a busy dude too during the day, right?
Yeah. So yeah, just making my drugs. But when I do get the 7 hours of sleep now, my brain's like, sick, you did a great job, but my body's like, fuck you, you slept wrong, and I can't turn my neck right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, guys, I'm not even that old, and I'm here sitting like back in the day, like.
How old are you, Ben?
I'm 24.
You're 24?
Yeah. How old do you think I was?
I thought the way you were talking, you were maybe in your late 20s. You weren't 30s.
No.
But yeah, 24 makes sense.
That's funny.
That's right, yeah, because you're still finishing up your master's.
My master's,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. Got my master's just to become a full-time comedian. Let's go.
Right. You always got to fall back.
Yeah. I'm going to plug that in my podcast, too. I have actual credentials. I can talk about science as an expert, all right?
As a master.
As a master.
Yeah.
I'm a master scientist in synthetic organic chemistry. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make meth?
Yeah. It's not that hard. Basically, yeah. No, it's not. It's really not hard. It's a pretty.
Why aren't you doing that?
I mean, there might be some legal issues behind that. It's probably a good financial decision. I have some morals still.
Right.
Right. As a comedian, morals are very important up on my. I got to make sure like equality, inclusion, not making meth. Those are my top three.
Top
right?
three. Yeah.
I would say.
Murder,
But-
fine, but
Yeah, no, that's that happens. It's accidental, especially. What is that as the lawyer? What's the accidental? Is it second degree, first degree? What are the different degrees?
I don't know. I don't practice criminal law.
True.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, remind me. So you said like like wills and stuff like that.
Wills and estates.
Damn.
And I do mental health law.
What's that? Mental health.
So clients call me from institutions where they've been put against their will because they say they have a mental disorder, they're a threat to the public or to themselves. And so some psychiatrist signs an order and they stay there for up to 3 days, and then they get to appeal their decision. Their decision's appeal comes within a week, and then there's a hearing, and they quickly need a lawyer, and then I'm the lawyer.
That's cool. And then okay, so that's mental health, and then I feel like the first one you mentioned with the wills, there can be like a reality TV show about that. Like there must be some drama sometimes.
Yeah,
like
there is.
Grandpa wrote me out of his will.
Yeah, the calls I get from people, it's always like, yeah, I don't know why I'm not being in the will. Grandpa married this person was just put in the will. Or even in a power of attorney situation, my grandfather's sick and now someone's trying to take over his entire life.
Yeah.
How do I fix this?
Yeah. That's funny. I feel like, yeah, that's, you gotta like remove yourself from that too. You have to look at it kind of as objectively as you can.
You get better at it over time.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder too, like jobs like that are very, graphic, or like things that people see that, and I'm sure there's some jobs that you just can't imagine doing. Like for some people, surgery, like the sight of blood, whatever. I wonder if you ever get like, or even as a doctor, one of my good friends is in medical school right now, and he's like finally he's in like second year, so he's starting to see patients, and like, he's still just like, went through school, normal guy. So for him, like some of the interactions are tough, like, cause he's dealing with some like terminally ill patients sometimes and stuff like that.
Yep.
I wonder if you get like kind of numb to that,
I think my brother's a doctor. He does that kind of work too.
Yeah.
And
Like, how does he not bring that home?
I think you just get used to it.
Yeah.
And you have to know you're designed for it. It
Yeah.
starts in empathy.
Yeah.
And then eventually in order to best serve your patient, you need to sort of let go of your empathy a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have to just remain detached and objective, as you said.
Yeah, but I wonder, so like there's a big human aspect to practices like that, like medicine especially, like you're dealing. I was actually, for a long time, I was very intrigued in medicine. Like I did my life sci undergrad, and then I went to grad school. I wrote my MCAT, which is like a marathon of a test.
I hear, yeah. What is it, 9 hours?
Yeah, it's like 8 hours, and it was insane.
Good
Like I
Lord.
studied a whole summer, and then I like definitely have ADHD. So sitting down for me and like writing for 8 hours was a fucking treat. You know what I mean? They're the most
It's a
interesting.
memorization thing too, right?
It's a memorization, sure, a lot of that, but practice. It's literally just practice.
Yep.
Like the style of questions, timing. It's literally like preparing for an athletic event. That's the only thing. That was my saving grace, because I've been doing sports my whole life.
Yeah.
So like I'm used to kind of like, putting reps in for whatever that may be. And that's kind of how you prepare for an MCAT. You like sit down, you put your reps in for like the cars section, the whatever section, right? The bio, psych, soc, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I did my undergrad in biochemistry, and my best section was psychology and sociology, because I put the most reps in for that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I got bio and chemistry,
Yeah, you're trying
so
to
I
compensate,
Yeah.
so
So, and that was
interesting.
my best section. And it's an 8-hour test. You get like 30 minutes for lunch or whatever. I went outside to have like my Subway sandwich, and the dude almost didn't let me back into my room, the security guard. I was like freaking out. I had to like break into the elevator and like climb up some Mission Impossible shit to get back into my...
That is so stressful.
So for my second 4 hours, like my adrenaline was like fucking high. I was like heart beating. I had to like refocus. So it's literally, all those external factors you have to perform. So it was very interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, those standardized tests, they suck.
Yeah, they do. There has to be a better way to do that. But like back to my point, like I wonder if empathy is a huge part of the practice. That's what attracted me to being a doctor, was the patient interactions, right? Being able to help people directly. And that's part of the reason I love comedy. I love getting up there and like the things that I came from my brain, I wrote down on a piece of paper and I'm saying to a crowd, is giving people, like helping them, making them happy, making them laugh.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. And I actually didn't finish that story. When I was talking to my dad and that car ride to my cottage, right? what I said is like, I wonder why I like comedy so much. Like, am I a narcissist? Do I want everybody to like me? Because all comedians, you know, we want people to like us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's definitely because, you know, I was athletic as a child. Like I did like martial arts, right, in school, whatever. Like no matter, and I played golf competitively. Like no matter what I did, I never really got like a good job from my parents necessarily. So I'm like, I feel like it's definitely because I never got your approval. So now I'm seeking all these random people's approval.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like that light bulb just went off, and my dad actually, he couldn't say anything to that. He's like, normally he'd say something, but he's like, yes, probably.
Yeah.
That is very good. It was the first time I got approval from him. I was like, yeah, fuck. I quit.
Your dad's a man of few words.
Yes,
He really is. I love you. He doesn't have to say much.
Yes, he just gives me a look, raises his eyebrows, and he's like, "Yeah, it's all good." Yeah, I don't know what gave you the itch? What made you fall in love with comedy?
Initially, I just wanted an art form that I could access.
Yeah.
Because I'd started playing music a year earlier.
Yeah.
At 19, and I wasn't good enough to perform. I'm still not.
Yeah.
But for music, you got to build a skill, right? Like you have to become good at something, and then you can go on stage and start doing it. But I wanted something where I could just immediately start expressing myself. Mm-hmm. And comedy is the lowest bar for any art there is. You just walk up and do it, right?
Yeah.
So that's initially
lowest like barrier to entry. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's harder than it looks. A lot of people say like they go to an open mic like I can do this. It's interesting.
Well, you can, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of being good, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, that's kind of what drew me to it. And then 6 years I took off to go to law school, become a lawyer, start practicing, and then I'm like, okay, now I really need something to express myself with, and so I went back to it.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I like that. Me too. Like I was never really musical. I enjoy music a lot, but I never played the trumpet a little as a kid. But like, I fucking love trumpet, man. Don't even laugh at that.
The way you said that. Play the trumpet a little.
Play the trumpet. I was a little trumpet boy, a little trumpet man boy. But it was I was doing skits and stuff before, so I always enjoyed the comedy aspect, and I was always a fan of comedy too. Like I said, it drew me in as a fan first because I loved hearing these takes, and that made me laugh. And it gave me so much enjoyment. So that's why I have so much kind of respect for it. And I also, when you go up, you know, you don't always do well, but when you do well, it feels great because you know how, you know, you've been in the audience's shoes before, and the fact that you just made a bunch of people feel like that is amazing.
Yeah, it is something else.
Yeah,
it's nothing quite like it.
No, there isn't. But yeah, so we got into that psychology a little bit. What do you think about Elon's move to... You like my transitions? That's something I learned from comedy. I have really smooth transitions, ladies and gentlemen. We're pouring our hearts out here, and then like, what do you think about Elon Musk? But yeah, the reason I bring this up is because I can't get used to this X icon on my phone. Instead of Twitter, he changed Twitter's logo to X and the name.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't have Twitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, so Elon changed it to X. First of all, it's not catchy, right? Like X.
Didn't he name his kid X too?
He named him some like long illegible name, like some alien ass name, which like opens you up to bullying. You're the son of like the richest dude in the world, and like poor kid. I mean, not literally a rich kid, but it's there's something to that, eh? Like you never see a lot of the most successful people come from very humble beginnings. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like
less and less these days, I think.
Yeah.
I think with actors and comedians and stuff, a lot of people come from more because it just takes a lot to be able to sustain that kind of care and whatever for the career.
I guess. I mean, especially in the Olympics, like those random sports, like fucking like 100-meter rowing, like nobody has access. Who's gonna practice all day, every day in a boat? Like it, and that's why all the Harvard kids, the white kid, So that's an example, but I guess depending on what you're talking about. Anyways, but yeah, so he changed the Twitter. Elon changed the Twitter name and logo to X, and I just don't get it because it's not catchy. I guess SpaceX, which makes sense. He should have just done it like. You know that like graffiti S you used to draw as a kid?
Yeah.
That would have been a better logo. Like the 3 bars. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
that
like,
sick. He could buy any sort of logo he wanted.
I know,
He could buy the
right?
rights to that.
that would have been sick. But and also like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like we had like Twitter just rolls off the tongue nicely, Instead of tweeting and retweeting, now we're Xing and re-Xing.
Is that true? Is that what we're doing now?
I guess it must be called that.
Yeah, I guess they don't call it tweets anymore.
Yeah.
So Twitter is no longer what it's called.
No, it's called X. So you can't really say tweeting, you have to say Xing, which is weird because that sounds like, I don't know, like porn.
I just saw this event and I X'd about it.
Yeah, I X'd about it.
No, it's not catchy at all. He's stupid, that guy. I don't know what he's thinking. Half the time.
Dude, this is gonna fuck up so many dudes that like, there are some dudes out there that like to press X on their computer keyboards for various purposes.
I have no
Imagine
idea what you mean.
I mean, like think about the most common reasons that you would use X on your computer keyboard. Here, paint a scenario. You're just married. You're recently married, right?
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Married man. You're with your beautiful wife. You have your computer open. You forgot to delete your history. You just want to look at the news in front of you, right?
Yeah.
You press X on the keyboard.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Instead of checking the news, you're going to be checking into a hotel.
Yeah.
So this is going to expose some dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like any other I don't know. I'm just, business analytics, social media mind working here.
Yeah. Is it X.com that he's bought? Elon Musk?
Like what? Okay, let me
Don't
pull it
type
up.
in X.com.
I'm not gonna. Exactly. That's my point. You go on X.com right now. Like, what are you gonna X? Xbox, XE, X.com, or is it Twitter? Yeah, it's X.com. Yeah, I typed in X.com, and I guarantee you, 2 months ago, this was a fucking granny porn site or something.
You think granny porn took
I think
over X.com?
yeah, Generation
You think granny
X.
porn has that high of
that
a
would
domain
make
status?
Yeah,
Interesting.
because it's like Gen X.
Yeah.
They're probably grannies by now.
There's
X.com.
a few of them, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I would say, I don't know, it's just a questionable move overall.
So you think at some point Elon has to approach the people of X.com who are making granny porn?
Yeah.
And he's like, I would like to use this.
I would like to use your website
I'd like to buy you fellas out.
Yeah, and they're all excited. Like, they've been working their whole life to build this, like, accessible, GILF porn website. And Elon Musk is finally approaching them, and they're like, we want to hear your ideas. We have so much stuff. Like, let's spitball here, right? We want to, like, introduce these features, I think. And he's like, yeah, I just want to buy it to rebrand Twitter. It just breaks their hearts, They're trying to make something here. They're trying to make the next platform. And but, that's a cutthroat business. So it's okay. I think it's just, I don't know. It'll take some time to get used to, like with anything. But I think overall...
It's really weird, though.
It is weird.
It's been a couple of months since he changed the name, right?
No, it's been like not even a week. I think it's
yeah.
very recent. Because one day, like, the icon was Twitter, and then the next morning you just wake up and it's X.
Well, Meta did that, right? Although I still call it Facebook.
I think it's still Facebook. Meta is like
what is Meta then?
It's the
Umbrella?
umbrella company that owns like Messenger and Facebook and what is that? WhatsApp, whatever. All that
Instagram
stuff.
too?
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. I guess
Instagram.
now I'm used to it. It's not that weird.
Yeah.
But X, I don't know if I'm going to get used to that.
Yeah. I
probably will.
We will, we as a species we adapt, but we just went through a pretty solid couple of reasons that it might not have been the best business decision. Mm-hmm. But he's the one who's the billionaire, not us, so maybe he knows what he's doing. Apparently he wants to make it like a all-income. He's like, he wants to come up with an X phone instead of an iPhone and make it like very like make your data very secure and like everything. Basically another way for like a rich guy to control the entire world. So
yeah.
Fucking Black Mirror episode coming to life. Do you watch that?
I watched the first season, I think, a long time ago.
It's probably the best one, the first few seasons.
Yeah.
The further on you go, the worse it gets, but it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, life's a Black Mirror episode. However, we're trying to help you guys escape through this podcast, some genuine talks, some good, what do you call it? Heartfelt conversation. We don't have any hidden agendas. We just want to have a good time.
I have plenty of hidden agendas.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah? What, like what?
Let's
unravel your hidden agendas.
I want to, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take over the world?
Yeah, I can't tell you because they're hidden.
Okay, fuck. Well, there we go. Apparently one of us has a hidden agenda, but I don't. My heart is pure, and I've never done anything bad in my life. And on that note, we've been here for almost an hour. So,
really?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's been 45 minutes. I feel like that's what I go for the pods now to start. I want to get them over an hour. I could keep talking for a long time. It's easy, you know, especially with a...
Yeah, I did not notice an hour pass.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But apparently, according to my research on X.com, when you're starting out the podcast, it's good to keep it under an hour for optimal engagement. So
Yeah.
we're still on the rise. Soon we'll get there. You know, we'll be rivaling Joe Rogan. But for now, I gotta use the tips and tricks and whatnot.
Yeah, how long are the Joe Rogan podcasts?
They're like
hours, right?
He just did one with Post Malone for like 5 hours.
What the fuck do you talk to Post Malone for 5 hours about?
They were mostly just drinking and stuff. So like that's the thing. I didn't listen to the full episode. I just logged out after an hour because, you know, like you asked me what I listen to in the gym. Podcast often, but mostly like Andrew Huberman. You know who that is?
Yeah, he's the fitness dude.
Yeah, like fitness, psychology, all that stuff, like biohacking, right? Peter Attia, Outlive, really good book. Shout out Peter Attia. Actually, a really good book. It's one of the... So now in my training regimen, he's basically like a longevity doctor at Harvard. He studies... what's it called? Yeah, he studies... that it's a new field, essentially, longevity, right? And there's a whole department now dedicated towards that, and he's the lead. And he outlines essentially optimal like diet, nutrition, like mental health stuff. But mostly what I got from it is training, right? Like the 4 pillars of training for longevity, because it's not bench pressing and doing heavy deadlifts. It's like pull exercises, working on the hip hinge exercises.
Oh yeah, the little tiny muscles and joints. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tibialis raises. That's like the ankle raises.
Oh, interesting.
That's huge. Like my favorite exercise in the gym now probably is box step ups. If you came up to me when I like started working out when I was in high school or even like first few years of university and said like a few years from now you'll be doing box step ups, like I was like, what the fuck? Like that's not.
That's old man talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now like I literally like I look forward to the box step ups because I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm strengthening my knees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you something. As a dude who has the science background you have,
Yeah,
who reads about this stuff, do you think we will live long enough to experience forever living? Like, do you think we're within the escape velocity of not having to die?
I read a few interesting books that form my opinion. It has nothing to do with what I actually have my master's in, obviously, but so the first one that comes to mind is a book called Superintelligence that is essentially about AI, and it outlines. It's a 2018-19 book, so it's not quite outdated. It's modern enough, but based on their knowledge, and since then there's been a huge AI boom. I read this before the ChatGPT and stuff that outlines the possible ways that like AI could take over the world or like the problems and one of the chapters is literally about like uploading your consciousness possibly onto a computer, which is feasible, right? Because all it is, if you think about the way our brain works, it's neurons connected to each other, right? And they can do 2 things. Cells connected to each other, a bunch of them make the brain, right? They can do 2 things. They can either fire, right, an electrical signal or not. So it's kind of a binary code, zeros and ones, similar to what a computer is, right?
Yeah.
So there are different organisms that have a different amount of neural connections. That's technically how you actually measure what we call consciousness or intelligence. There's a correlation. Like the most intelligent animals that we consider intelligent have more of these neural connections versus an earthworm that has much less, right?
So we're basically similar to computers. We can upload ourselves onto computers theoretically.
If you break it down, yes. And like the way you shape your brain and stuff like that, the way these neural networks develop, I have very little idea about. But from what I understand, theoretically, yes, you can literally upload your consciousness onto a computer. That's feasible. And there's another like, and we're definitely, elongating our lives through training and medicine and advances and all that stuff. But there's also another question, like say you could do that. Like, do you want to? You know what I mean? Like, there's like a dystopian future where only the super rich can access this form of eternal life, and their alternate consciousness. Because at the end of the day, when you die, your biological body dies. You die. The only thing that will be left is like this version of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like a lot of people do art the way that we're wired. We're animals at the end of the day. We're not as smart as we think we are, and we like this idea of living forever. We have like a natural, through evolution, we want to live. That's the point. So we want to, a lot of the things we do, we create art, we write things down. It's kind of a way of us to live forever. We want people to think, you know, to speak well of us at our eulogy so they remember us, our kids, our grandkids, right?
Yeah, we're big into legacies.
Yeah, so we're big into that. And that is a form of eternal life. So yes, people will want to do that, and we might be able to achieve that. But then even if you upload your consciousness onto a computer, it's not really you, right?
Yeah.
So you'll technically, it's maybe it like, you know, your monkey brain will find solace in the fact that a version of you will still be there to affect the world in some way, but you'll be dead. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's like that Futurama thing.
Yeah.
With the floating heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty deep. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know shit about it.
Yeah. Would you want to live forever?
I thought about this. I would want to at least try it, but then let's say my wife also lives forever too, right? And we're both like perfect beings that haven't died yet, right? And it's not the computer thing, right? It's just your body's staying alive.
Yeah.
And we live like 500 years, and then she gets hit by a bus.
Oh, yeah.
And now she's dead. Like, I can't salvage her or anything.
If
and am I supposed to like live for another whatever amount of time and just not have her around?
And I wonder how that relationship develops. So imagine a being that's like, because as we get older, we get wiser, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a saying that I'm going to butcher, but it's like, young men have like the physical capability and like old men have the wisdom, right? And like,
yeah.
Then once you get old, your body isn't there to kind of apply that wisdom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I wonder what like a 500-year-old human would look like so much wisdom and a capable body. That would be very interesting to see. It's like you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But then also if you're alive for 500 years with your wife, imagine if people get bored after 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'd probably divorce after 100.
How many years do you think how many decades or centuries does it take until your wife to be like, all right, you can go to the strip club. One titty fuck. You're allowed. How many years until she gives you the titty fuck ticket?
I'll plead the fifth on that.
My girlfriend is literally looking at me behind the camera. What if my best guess...
Were you thinking out loud, or were you directing a question?
Infinity. That's the number. Infinity, because I love you forever. Okay. And on that note, Shanil, it's been an hour. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you Thank you so much for
coming on. Episode 2 of the Puzhitsky podcast. Spotify, subscribe, leave me a review, because that also helps the algorithm. I'll keep putting these out. Thank you guys for listening. See you next time. Peace.